Hello, everyone. Jess Stainbrook here with the Invisible Disabilities Association and the Invisible InCourage podcast, where we love to have conversations with lots of different people. I've been having conversations with a lot of our ambassadors, and that's been a lot of fun. And today I have Isabella Sementilli with me. Hello, Isabella. How are you doing?
Hello, Mr. Stainbrook. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, it feels so formal, Mr. Stainbrook. Why, thank you. I'm a university professor, so I get a lot of ways people refer to me, but thank you for the respect level. I'll take it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah, well, you have an interesting story, and I'm so excited that you've joined us here at IDA to be one of our ambassadors. But obviously, there's a tough story getting into it of what happened. If you want to share that with folks, and then we'll dig into some of the amazing things that you've done as a result of having the things that you're dealing with.
Well, I was in fifth grade. I was about to sit down, and a bully yanked out my chair. I slid down the chair, suffered a concussion, fractured tailbone, neck and back injuries. My whole life was changed forever in that instant. I love school so much. I used to get there every single day super early. I just love school so much. And then that day was just so different for me because about to start my school day, ready, recess, ready to play and everything. And then right in the morning, not only my whole day was changed, I didn't know my whole life would be changed
Mm,
forever. So from there, I went to the nurse's office and she said, "Oh, you're fine. Just head down and then maybe just go to the doctor's later." So my mom, she got the call and she was all nervous. My mom and dad picked me up, and I never knew that from that injury would be the day, it would be like never-ending nightmare. So
mm,
from that, I was finally 30 plus doctors later, I was diagnosed with, I got a concussion, fractured tailbone, and neck and back injuries. But my mom knew something still wasn't right, so we went to more specialists, and everyone said, "Oh, she's fine, she looks fine." And little did I know, 30 plus doctors later, and numerous x-rays, MRIs, nothing was showing up on anything, any scans. I was diagnosed with NEPH, which is new daily persistent headache, and ON, occipital neuralgia.
mm,
So when I was going back to school was kind of hard for me because the bright lights and the just everything, all the noise and everything was a lot for me. So the teachers, they thought, "Oh, I mean, she's fine. She's going to school every day. She doesn't have a cast or crutch." People thought I was fine because I looked fine, but they didn't understand that concussion and head injuries are invisible disabilities. They didn't see the fractured tailbone. They saw that I was sitting on a pillow for my fractured tailbone, but they didn't see the pain and the sharp stabbing pain, the needle throbbing pain in my eyes. So I stayed very positive despite all the pain I was going through. I tried to take many things like Tylenol, and nothing really touched the pain because what I have is refractory. So, with my strong family support that I have and my strong faith in God, that's what got me through the
mm.
toughest times of just the start of my journey. This happened in 2013, October 21st. And little did I know that over 10 plus years later now, I would still be living with this debilitating pain and still having to live with the side effects every single day. But
Yeah.
that bully wasn't going to hold me down. And as I say in my book, that bully wasn't going to break my crown. So I started to bake from my papa. He's from Italy, an Italian immigrant. And he taught me how to make these little Italian cookies called G-nuts. My nickname is Izzy. So
Mm.
I started making the cookies and I started selling them at my dad's restaurant, and I called them Iz Nuts. And I said, "Mom and Dad, you know what? This money that I start selling from these cookies, I want to give back to the anti-bullying brain awareness, community to help others out." And they're like, "Oh, that's a great idea. You can try it, see where it goes." And little did I know that I'm still making Isnats 11 years later, and I donate back to organizations. That's how I found Invisible Disabilities, actually, with donating back. And then when I wasn't baking or going to doctor appointments or visits, I started to write and I drew pictures. And then I went to my mom one day. I said, "I need to get a publisher. I want this published." So she found one for me, And I got it locally published, and I wrote my book, the short story One Tough Cookie, and to basically to show how, from a negative experience, turning a negative into a positive and just spreading my story. So what has happened to me, I hope with people reading my book, no matter what age you are, that you don't have to be to bully someone or hurt someone else. So I hope from my
Mhm.
story that it doesn't happen to anyone else.
I love hearing where you're very overt with your faith to say, "Hey, this happened, and I relied on God to do this, to help me through it." Because a lot of times, especially in that situation, something can really pull you down. But it seems like God has really helped you turn a lot of this around to help others, and it doesn't mean you're not dealing with chronic pain and the headaches and all the other stuff. So, but yeah, just to see what you're doing and how you've turned it into a positive experience to help others is amazing.
Yes, I credit, of course, my family, and they've been through with me through dilated eyes, walking out of a doctor appointment to crying because no one thinks my pain is real. People think I'm fine because I look fine, and those questioning looks. And really, I just owe it all to God because I wouldn't be who I am today. I mean, when this happened 10 plus years ago, I was beside myself. I always asked, why me, God? I tap danced since I was 3 years old. I love tap dancing. I thought I was going to Radio City Music Hall Rockette when I got older. When this happened to me, I was like, why did this have to happen to me? But then realizing throughout the years, many prayers and many visits to mass every week, I just realized that God closed that door for me of being a Radio City Music Hall Rockette, and He opened this door that when I was little, I never even thought of being an advocate for the anti-bully community or brain injury awareness survivor. I would never knew what a concussion was. But
Mm.
now, since when I was 10 years old, this happened to me. Now, this is my fate, and this is what God wanted me to do. So I'm just gonna lift up my cross and just carry my message.
Well, let me tell you this, good job. You're doing a
Thank
great
you.
job. It's really awesome to hear your story and how enthusiastic you are again through all the other stuff. You did talk about everybody looks at you and says, "Well, you look fine." Like
Mhm.
that's some kind of excuse to wipe away the things that they can't see. Um,
Right.
well, and you have a bunch of other things going on. I mean, your book, One Tough Cookie, right? Is
Yes.
that what it's about? That's really
Mhm.
cool. What a great title. And it's funny when I was reading about your cookies too. I was thinking, oh my gosh, it got me thinking of the pizzelles, but you're talking about the Giselles that are the smaller ones that are like little
With the
blobs.
sprinkle, yes, yep.
Yeah, yeah. With the anisette though, is that how you make them?
So that's how my papa made them, but I switched them a little bit and I made them since my brother has a peanut and tree nut allergy. I made them peanut and tree nut free. So I took a little spin off of Papa's original recipe, and that's why I named them the Is Nuts instead.
Nice. Well, incorporating some other things into it, right? Of people with allergies or food sensitivities. That's amazing. Well, the other thing I was reading about, and again, we've never met. Everybody knows this is the first time I'm meeting Isabella. But again, we have a lot of different ambassadors that are doing all kinds of things, like Isabella is, to help folks living with invisible and any disabilities. Actually, one of the things that I read was Senator Tedesco from New York actually gave you an award. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, that sounds kind of amazing.
Yeah, so that happened a couple years ago, and I was actually named one of for my region in upstate New York. The Senator Tedesco gave me the Woman of Distinction Award. And that meant so much to me. I wasn't even 20 yet. I think it was like maybe 19 or 18. And he gave that to me. And when I got that phone call, I was, granted, due to my injuries, I couldn't run around, I couldn't jump up and down. I literally just was in shock. When my mom got off the phone, I couldn't believe it because little did I know, as I said before, I never knew that this was going to happen to me, and let alone that I mean, there's been a lot of bad stuff that's happened throughout the years, and tears and cries and so many doctors and everything. So when I got that phone call that I was going to be recognized by a senator, and then of course for my region in upstate New York, I was just floored, and I was just so honored and humbled that I am making such an impact in the community and that other people are realizing it. And I never knew that from my story that I could be helping so many people and just, it was just so humbling to receive that. And I just couldn't be more blessed to have got that recognition from
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I've heard that you have a little saying too. That's kind of Izzy's saying. What's that?
Never crumble.
There you go. It's the never
Yes.
crumble, which, I like the things that it wraps around with the cookie and the book and all that stuff. So I think you've got quite the brand going there for everything that's going on. Um,
Thank you.
have you had people reach out to you to, talk to you about what's going on and it just in a general way, especially around the bullying thing? I think that's a big thing that's going on. When I'm teaching classes at the university level, I kind of make a joke to say back in my day, we actually had to go find the bullies, right? And you guys, it pops in on your phone,
Mhm.
which is really horrible. And but still, the physical presence and the thing that happened to you, what's your response to folks that reach out and want to talk to you about how to get through some of this stuff?
So when I go to school visits, sometimes when they're elementary kids, they're so adorable, and they're kindergarten or first graders are like, when I tell them my story, how, when I was bullied, and then from my injuries, actually, after eighth grade, I was placed on homebound instruction from eighth grade until senior year because there was more bullying happening and I couldn't take the pain anymore going to school. So I had a teacher come to school every day and teach me from home. So when I tell kids that, from all the bullying, I lost all my friends, these little kids raise their hands. They're like, "I'll be your friend," or "What do I do when I get bullied?" And these kids, I mean, no matter if you're a child, like 7, 8 years old, or even adults get bullied too. People are kind of afraid to speak up about it and tell their story because they don't know, they don't want to get judged, or they just feel very insecure about themselves. But and that's why I want to just try to make my platform. I know I can't say I'm going to make an end to bullying, but I want to try in every way that I can to spread my message because that bully thought pulling out my chair was just a prank. Little did that bully know that that would change my life forever. And I'm living with debilitating effects. And not only did it affect me, my life, but it affected my family and so many others around me. So that's why it's my mission just to spread my story and just to help others, don't be scared about what the bullying that's happening, just to, overcome and rise above it.
Well, I really appreciate you stepping out like this, the integrity and actually the courage you have to, be a voice for folks that are struggling through these kinds of things. So good job, girl. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
yeah, for sure. Well, let's see. Is there anything else I haven't asked you that you wanted to share about, I mean, being part of IDA or any of that stuff that I haven't asked you?
Well, I'm just very honored that I am an ambassador of VITA now because people think that now, since right now I'm a bartender and I'm working at my dad's restaurant, people think that, oh wow, you're still making the cookies couple like 10 years later, but so glad you're doing better. I've come to the point when I was little, I used to come home crying from school. Mom, the teachers are think that I look fine because they don't see the pain I'm going through. And that really used to bother me. How people, they didn't ask about me. And then the kid came from school the next day with a crutch. And they're like, oh my God, can I sign your cast? Or how are you? What happened to you? And here I am. I don't have a wrap around my head or something. So people think that I'm fine because I look fine. So then the people at the restaurant, oh wow, I'm so glad you're doing better. You look great. I've come to the point now I try not even to explain myself because I know it's not going to go anywhere.
Mm,
I know that I'm a TBI survivor. I live with migraines and the headaches every day. I still have the functional scoliosis. I'm still off. I'm still living with, back pain. The 3, 4, 5 years of physical therapy I went to didn't help. So I know that I'm still in pain, and that's why being a part of IDA and being a part of this amazing organization that helps people, it's kind of like a dream because I want others to no matter if it's a concussion or something that you can't see to the eye that I can be an advocate and ambassador for, just to spread awareness that
Mm,
no matter a disability that's invisible or not, especially invisible disabilities, we need our voices to be heard because there's so many of us out there that people think we're fine because we look fine, but in the inside, really not. So that's why it's an honor to be a part of this, to spread my message and all the other ambassadors to spread their messages too, to be one
yeah.
community, one family.
Well, great job, and I'm like I said, I'm really appreciative of your courage and how you're doing it. It actually brings up a good point because there are so many things that I would say qualify for having an invisible disability, whether it's MS or epilepsy or diabetes or the TBI and the different things that Izzy is dealing with. I don't know if you've ever seen our ID card. We do actually have an ID card, and this has actually become the official approved government symbol for people living with invisible disabilities. So in some states, you can actually get this on your license to help with
Mhm.
identity situations and things like that. So the way it works is, and you can go to our website, we'll put some stuff on at the end here, is that basically you get this. And if you need help or if there's something that's going on, we wear this around our neck, right? If we're actually having a good day where we don't feel like we need the help, I just take it off, right? But the whole point is to say it's been really helpful. Our goal is that when people see this, that somebody would say, "Hey, how can I help?" Right? Whether
Oh,
it's
that's awesome. Yeah.
getting through an airport or something like that. So yeah, the cards have been super helpful. They kind of came about during COVID, when everything shut down, and we had just been moving into some legislative efforts. And we work with a bunch of folks in New York as well on some of this stuff, and just getting these things in place. Well, because everything was shut down, our constituency basically reached out and said, "We need something." That maybe it's not an official government thing. So we created that and it kind of took off. And so that in conjunction with the legislative things that we work on and the disability training for law enforcement has been really powerful in seeing how it helps folks and identify what's going on to hopefully change an interaction that you might have based on something that's happening for you. So yeah, that's more for our viewers for them knowing, what's going on and what might be another resource for that. So well,
That's
you also have a business that you started too, right? Where you
yes.
have a couple of things like that. Tell me a little bit. What it's Bella Cervella?
Yes. Bella
Yeah.
Cervella, which is
What?
beautiful brain in Italian.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
I'm very Italian. I come from very strong Italian roots, and my grandparents are from Italy. So I take my heritage very important to me. So when I said, once again, I went to my parents and I said, I want to start a business. And they're like, slow down a little bit here. So I started my business in Bella Cervella's Beautiful Brain. And from my business, I have my book and I have a Never Crumble doll and bracelets, Never Crumble bracelets as well, and t-shirts, hats, and all of my sales. And I try to give back as much to anti-bullying and brain awareness organizations to help other people out. And I think that's my mission and my goal.
That's awesome. Well, give me the promo. Where can people find your stuff?
IsabellaSementilli.com.
Okay, well, and I'll put that up too so
Thank
that
you
we
so
can see
much.
that. Yeah, and help you promote that a little bit. Well, again, thank you so much for being with me today and just having a conversation. Like I said, there's usually a final question that I like to ask, and it's, when you're in the middle of your darkest days and things are going on, the name of this podcast is Invisible InCourage, IN instead of the other one. And again, it has to do with invisible disabilities. So on those days where it just doesn't feel right, things are going tough, what encourages you to get through everything?
That's a great question, and I've gotten many questions kind of like that before when I leave school visits, and these little kids that they stump me with this question a lot. But I mean, I would have to say once again, circle back to it, my family and my faith. I wouldn't be anything without those two things, and this journey, when I started, I thought that this cross was going to be way too heavy for me to carry. But throughout the years, and with a lot of support and people that I never even knew that I thought I would be known to be existable, that I knew that I was making a difference. And I know that every single day I just get on my knees every morning and just say, God, give me the strength to get through today. And I don't plan ahead. I don't plan years. I just take one day at a time. And I know that if I go through that, and I know that if I can be that tough cookie, my slogan, I will never crumble. And I hope that other people can follow that too, no matter what they're going through in life, just to stay strong, be that tough cookie, and never crumble.
Well, that's awesome. That's so good to hear from you and great to meet you here. Well, that's I've been talking with one of our ambassadors, Isabella, Izzy, you like to be called,
Yes.
right? Sementilli. And just again, you can go find all of her stuff on her website. That page is coming up right now. If you got any questions about invisible disabilities, obviously you can go to our website, invisibledisabilities.org, and check out our YouTube page and every place else for the other podcasts that we've got on a lot of different things that are going on. Izzy, thanks for joining me today. And yeah, we just wish everybody, had that kind of same strength and power you got going through there. And,
Thank you.
faith and family, I think, says it all, right?
Yep, most important.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on another episode.